number 23, Stearns Showcase Jewelers, that's Debbie Skinner. Healthy Mate sponsoring number 24, Tessa Baby. And Elder sponsoring number 25, Megan McKay. And Hustler sponsoring number 40, Carly Bowe. Head coach Tracy York, assistant coaches Mark Alabakov, Michaela Dawkins, Beck Dubin. The development coach is Carly Stones, team manager is Michelle Smith, and the physio is Daniel Hamilton. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to rise now for the singing of the national anthem of Australia, introducing young and local talent, Brian McPartland from
team. Smith alone again, and she calls game. Alana Smith says that'll do it. Smart for back-to-back trip. She knocks that down again.
Finds her again. Wants to push it down the floor. Wilson, big finish. Keep their finals hopes alive.
Hello and welcome to Bendigo Stadium for round 12 of WNBL action. It's the Bendigo Spirit hosting the third-placed Adelaide Lightning. Bendigo's first home game at Selkirk Stadium in a month. And it's Liam Ellison here, joined alongside me is Olympian and world champion Opal, Jenny Screen. And Jenny, welcome. Are you excited for a big night at Thursday night hoops?
I am, actually. I've got my feet up already, as I'm almost about to pop with the baby, but it might be 3rd versus 7, but Bendigo are on the back of 2 wins, especially on the performances of Maylee and obviously Maddie Garrick. And Adelaide have some outs, so it'll be an interesting game tonight, and I think it might go down to the 4th quarter. Certainly, it looks like it could be a blockbuster in store. Let's check in with the WNBL ladder with 11 rounds now completed. We're on the eve of round 12. It's Perth and Canberra that have created some separation up the top with some sizable win streaks. We've got the Lightning tied on win percentage with the Melbourne Boomers. So big game for them this evening. And the Spirit coming off 2 games in a row down in 6, Jenny. They are indeed, and obviously we know Adelaide Lightning play Sydney up next. So if they're able to get the 2 wins, they just close that gap and might push Perth Lynx out of that top spot. And then obviously Bendigo, they're just trying to crawl their way up the ladder. They've had some great games against Townsville, and obviously they beat Lightning just before we had that break and when the Opals went away. So they're amongst the mix, and they're causing upsets even though they may not be able to make finals. Let's have a look at that win against the Adelaide Lightning. Of course, that was one of those wins in the 2-game win streak. They prevailed 74-62 on Adelaide's home floor. So
Pretty good performance, to say the least. How did you see that one, Jenny?
Yeah, it was a great contest. I mean, Bendigo came out firing. We know that obviously the Lightning were down without the likes of Steph Talbot, who's in sensational MVP form, and then also Alana Smith, who are away with the Opals. So Bendigo took no prisoners and obviously were hunting for that win indeed. And it was on the back of Annalee mainly, who had 26 points, and Garrick, she had 17 and drained 6 threes from beyond the arc as well. So they were absolutely sensational. So hopefully that gives them a little bit of confidence, I should say, going into this one against Adelaide yet again. Yeah,
it was a magnificent performance from Annalee Maley, who's well and truly in MVP contention. 26 points, as you said, Jenny, to go along with 21 boards and 5 steals. So very impressive stuff as well. Just looking at the Bendigo starters on your screen right now. But their most recent win, Jenny, might have been the most impressive of the bunch. 5-point win up in Townsville on Townsville's home floor. Yeah,
absolutely. It was good, and they gave Townsville a run for their money, and that's the confidence they need. They are just blue-collar working team. They don't have the star-studded talent or the depth, but they just seem to be getting to click now, you know, obviously since they've lost Leilani Mitchell to pregnancy and those type of things. So it's really nice that they get to play the way they do. And funnily enough, fun fact, they play better away than they do at home. They average about 68 points at home compared to 80 points on the road, and similarly to Lightning as well. So that's an interesting fact, and whether that will play out this evening.
Yeah, very, very similar for Adelaide. They come into this one 4-0 on the road this season. You can see their starters on the screen right now. But with Talbot Smith and Kiana Williams as well, who was out with an injury for a couple of games, they're back and reintegrated. They're going to be tough to beat tonight.
Well, they've obviously got that punch, you know, and they're led well by Chris Lucas. He's been in the league a long time. They will be scouting Bendigo to a T. They would have been embarrassed losing on their home court to Bendigo a few weeks ago. Obviously, we have no Abby Werung. She may only be averaging 6 points per game and a couple of rebounds and assists, but she has that X factor about her. So watch Sam Simons, might get some more opportunity off the bench, the young Adelaide player as well. So it'll be interesting to see, one, can their studs get it done, but do they have the depth to carry this one out?
One of their studs, Alana Smith, fresh off signing a training camp contract with the Indiana FIBA, comes into this one as their leading scorer, 16 and 10 on the season. What sort of influence do you think she's going to have over the result tonight?
Well, look, I'm really excited by the matchup between her and Maley. I mean, you know, Maley has missed out on the Opals. I think she's having a sensational career. Still has a long way to go in terms of transitioning from national level to international level. But that battle's going to be tough because we know what Annalee Maley is like. We think Alana Smith is tough on the boards, and she's been the same throughout her career, but Annalee Maley is just a dog with a bone, and I mean that with all respect for the way she plays. I mean, I can't believe the numbers that she is averaging. 19 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.7 steals a game. It's ridiculous.
It certainly is.
So that's the matchup that I'm excited by.
And to go with that as well, she's shooting remarkably close to 39% from 3, so really expanded that part of her game.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's not something she's known for, let's be honest. It's not a textbook shot at all, and that's why teams are leaving her open at the 3, because we know how volatile she is when she puts the ball to the floor. But Adelaide are going to have to do a job in boxing her out. She averages around 4.5 offensive rebounds a game, and then you've got Megan McKay as well, who dominates on the glass.
McKay and Smith to contest the tip here. Just about underway here at Bendigo Stadium. McKay got a hand to it. Kylie Shukdo corrals it for Adelaide, so the Lightning with first possession. Here's Kiana Williams straight into it. Talbot leading the league in assists so far this season, 6.5. Hands it off to Smith right there. Just a touch strong, but Williams did well. Smith with the opening triple. So the Adelaide Lightning draw first blood.
Nice to see Alana Smith starting where she left off from round 11. She was player of the week, had a sensational week indeed, had 26 points and did a sensational job in round 11.
Good D from the Lightning there. Here's Smith again. This time she pulls up for an easy 2. Back-to-back buckets for Alana Smith to start this one. Lady hands it over to McKay. This is starting 5 for Bendigo that's done so much damage the last couple of games. Garrick no good on that attempt. Ahead to Shook. Smith, 7 quick points to start this one.
And that's just a training drill right now. Defensive transition is lacking for Bendigo. 7 quick points with just under 1.5 minutes. Is not really the start I'm sure Coach Tracy York would be looking for from her Bendigo Spirit girls.
Lightning 3 or 4 from the field already. Wilson hesitates. Nice pass to McKay. Blocked by Smith, out of bounds. So it'll stay with Bendigo.
Sort of like that two-game action there, but obviously between Annalee and Wilson. Wilson's quite crafty off pick and rolls. She's got that X factor about her as well. McKay's just got to go up strong there. There's no need to balk that shot. She's big, she's strong. She should be able to nail that shot.
Maley no good on that attempt. Williams pushes inside to Shook. Trying to find her place, and now she'll draw the foul on McKay.
And again, it's this pace phase that we're seeing from the Adelaide Lightning, that quick push out and transition, whether it's from a stop or, you know, a defensive rebound. They're getting out and running, and hopefully Bendigo can regroup here and get organised on the defensive end, or they could be in for a very long time.
Certainly timeout on the floor. The Lightning 7-0 to start this one. Lots to talk about for Tracy York and her troops. What do you think they need to do to slow down Adelaide defensively?
Well, we've already talked about transition, and that's pretty much all it's been in the first, 2 minutes, just over 2.5 minutes of basketball. It's just been transition. That's where all their shots have come from. It's been in, you know, the midsection of the court, pull-up Jays, and then obviously they've been looking at Shook down low as well. So for me, it's picking up the ball early, getting good shots offensively, which will allow them to then set themselves up for that defensive transition a lot better. But hopefully they'll be able to regroup out of this timeout and get themselves back in this contest.
Let's go to some news around the WNBL. Lauren Nicholson to miss 4 to 6 weeks due to an injury sustained in Saturday's game against the UC Capitals. So, Jenny, 4 weeks absence would see her back on the eve of finals. Obviously, it's the 4 to 6 range, but do you have any experience with that, coming back into finals off an injury?
No, not really. It's hard for Townsville because we know how much of an impact that she is as a player for Townsville. She's having a great season herself, and she's going to be, you know, big shoes to fill up there. And obviously we know Townsville are pushing for the Final Four, but that allows other teams the opportunity to come in, and obviously Melbourne as well. They're pushing for that final spot. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, considering we're heading towards the pointy end.
Townsville playing catch-up in 5th place at the moment. Williams comes up with a steal. So easy lay-in for the Lightning, and the route continues.
You can see Adelaide came out of that timeout in a 1-2-2 press action. They're continuing, as you can see right here, off a score into that 1-2-2, what looks like to be back into a matchup.
Bendigo still searching for their first bucket. Garrick's second miss from beyond the arc. Inside to Shook. She's backing down Nailey. And drawn the foul on Nailey.
Shook's done a great job at the start of this game of finding position. She's a bigger body. She's taller against the likes of Maley. Not so much McKay, but, you know, has that ability to use great footwork and find great position in the low block. And no doubt she'll be a target for Adelaide Lightning tonight. I'd love to see the matchup once the sub Jenny Rintala comes in. She's a former Adelaide Lightning player, just recently signed with the Bendigo Spirit. So she'll know Adelaide in detail, which will be really nice to see how they go against each other.
20 points, 10 rebounds for West Adelaide in the NBL 1 Central for Jenny Rintala. Great to see her rejoining the Spirit after playing with Bendigo last season. Wilson tries to bullet it inside to Goulding, no good. Week 13 to zilch start for Adelaide. Williams has been good this season, import for Adelaide. Talbot. Now they go inside to Shook, but picked off by Bowe. Ahead to Maley. She's going to take Talbot on, and Smith pulls it down. So now off the pine for Adelaide. Inside to Talbot, the touch rewarded. Bendigo do not have an answer defensively right now. Goulding stepping through, puts up the floater. Another miss. Garrett picks it off. Too strong on that jumper. So Bendigo will get another chance here. They have not been able to come up with an answer.
No, they're 0 of 5 from the field. They can't hit the side of a barn right now, but, you know, they're close to making, hopefully, a bucket right here.
As Wilson couldn't convert that time. And drawing fouls as well on the inside, Adelaide. Up to the free throw lines a couple of times already as Smith looks to be clutching her ankle.
Substitution for Adelaide.
Looks like she slipped, so hopefully nothing serious for Alana Smith.
She's definitely come back from Serbia with the Opals, and Talbot's the same, with a really amazing mindset. She's gone to another level, I believe, in the WNBL since returning, and that was on show last week, and which is exciting for the Opals. You know, when Steph Talbot is peaking, and you know she's in MVP form with averaging almost a double, like 13 points a game you wouldn't think is MVP form, but when you're averaging along with that 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.5 steals, and almost shooting it over, well, she is shooting over at 40% per game in the WNBL this season, that is MVP form. So that is a tough matchup for any team when you've got Smith and Talbot in great form like they are.
Yeah, they're remarkable numbers, and no doubt that 13 points per game, as Smith comes up with a rejection, would be a lot bigger if she didn't have so many talented teammates around her. As Shook, now Talbot with the O board, and there she is on cue.
But that's the good thing about Talbot, is she doesn't have to dominate. She just does what's required for her team. If she's got open, she'll take the shot. If she's got to lock someone down defensively, she'll do that as well. If she has to create for someone, she can do that. The versatility of her and being such a great two-way player is just sensational for our league.
Talbot on cue, pulls down the rebound. 17-0 start for Adelaide. Bendigo need an answer. Can they come up with a stop here? Talbot steps into a three. And Bendigo pull down the board. Over to Bode, she'll step out. Touch strong on that attempt. There's a tangle, and Talbot pulls down the rebound. Cross court to Whittle. So Levy balancing football and basketball this season with Richmond in the AFLW. Putting up just over 10 points per game on the season. Call here from the referee. That'll be on Kiana Williams. Bendigo ball. As Demi Skinner hits the floor for Bendigo. Smith as well, taking a break. Goulding thought about it. Whittle did well. Now Bode, that's a long two. Gladwrap over the ring at the moment for Bendigo. Smart play by Whittle.
Yeah, she's probably another one. Oh, actually, I thought it was the other way. Let's have a look. Did it flip on the line?
Oh, yep.
It was actually off, ricocheted off her, from Goulding to Whittle.
Off Goulding's shin and then finally hit Whittle's boot. So Levy to inbound, fresh 14 for the Spirit. Maley's had some answers for her Spirit over the last couple of games. Can she get one here? No. Air ball on that three.
And everything's just a bit funky right now. I mean, when you're looking at the scoreboard, you haven't scored. You're 5 minutes into the first quarter. Your opposition has 17 points, well on their way to probably 30 points for the quarter. It just makes things really hard. They've got to get back to some really good ball movement. They're running a lot of shuffles, so down screens, across screens action, but they've got to do it with some urgency. Move that ball, attack the rim hard, and get some better looks.
Talbot no good on that attempt. The Spirit 0 of 13 now from the field. So they've certainly had their struggles. Skinner kicking it round the top now, Bendigo. Maley picks up her dribble. Inside to Skinner, but it was a wayward pass. Talbot plays on to Shook, and Talbot comes up with another offensive rebound.
Great athleticism there shown by Talbot, and that just came off great gritty D, getting another stop on the defensive end, and then being able to push out in transition from the Adelaide Lightning.
Rebound number 5 already for Talbot. Oh my goodness. And that pretty much exemplifies the struggles that Bendigo have had.
Yeah, and it's so disappointing considering, you know, the start that they've had, well, the last 2 games they've had, the great win against Townsville, the great win against Adelaide. Granted, you know, no Talbot, no Smith, but they've had consecutive turnovers in a row. They're just a bit sloppy. They're not connecting with each other really well, and it's just going from bad to worse at the moment.
It's quite a stark difference from their last couple of games, that's for sure. Talbot hands it off to Williams. Back outside. That 3-ball goes for Chelsea Brook.
And that hurts. That really hurts. I think they scouted that rail. I think they wanted to push Talbot away from the screen. But Chelsea Brook, she's great from the 3-point line. She's averaging 8 points a game and 2 rebounds off the bench. And doesn't shoot a bag from the 3-point line either.
Talbot came up with a steal on the other end. Another 3 for Adelaide. 25-0 is the start. It's a timeout on the floor. Goodness me, Jenny, it is ugly at the moment for Bendigo.
Well, it's pretty for Adelaide. They're looking pretty. Again, another turnover. Steph Talbot, I think, has 3 steals for the game already and creating havoc on the offensive end. If she's not scoring herself, she's finding her other teammates. Chelsea Brook, she's been sensational. Come off the bench in the last minute. She only averages, I believe, around 8 minutes a game, but or around that 10-minute per game. But you know, points per minute played is really good. So she's back-to-back 3s. And right now, if I was Tracy York, I'd probably do a stand-up timeout in the middle of the court and give them a little bit of attitude adjustment, because this is really not acceptable in terms of the WNBL.
When's the last time you reckon we saw that in the WNBL? Stand-up timeout?
I'm not sure. I mean, it happened a couple of times in my career. I saw it in the NBL on Thursday night. Dean Vickerman got up to Melbourne United when it was a throwdown against the South East Melbourne Phoenix and took him out into the middle of the court. Now, granted, that was probably so the TVs couldn't hear what he was saying. But sometimes it's necessary. And right now, I think we're probably on the cusp of history in terms of the lowest score in a quarter versus the highest score in a quarter.
Can they come up with a response? Bendigo. Cassidy McLean now out there for the Spirit. Jenny Rintala as well, opting to some of their bench players. Levy working on Williams. There's the floater. No good. So both teams now, in fact, 14 field goals for Bendigo and 15. And it might not show up on your screen right now, but that is as it stands. They've had their opportunities, the Spirit. Yeah, there's been some good looks, and then there's been some not so good looks. Maddie Garrick has sat for quite a little bit now in this first quarter. We know that she's still returning from injury and with her ankle, but she's still finding some really good form, I think. But for me, sometimes you can't score. And it just, no matter what you do, you're just having a bad day at the office. But when it comes to the defensive end, that's all just controllable. That's effort, that's having a crack, that's, you know, keeping your player in front of you, keeping someone else accountable. And Bendigo just aren't getting either done right now. So if they can't score, they want to play some better defense. Third trip to the charity stripe for the Lightning as Little gets the first one to go. And 9 of 15 shooting from the field as a team.
She's another good role player for the Adelaide Lightning. She's had some good games this season, and you know, Chris has used her quite well. She's quite versatile. She can play front to bucket and then can be an undersized 4 as well. She only averages, you know, 4 and 4 per game, but you know, does her role really well, and a reason why you see Adelaide on third on the ladder.
Certainly got some good depth for Lightning as Talbot spinning inside. Pretty move. The likes of Basham and Brook and Avery Werrung, obviously, who's not in uniform today. Youngster Sam Simons as well. Elabadish. So certainly the Lightning, a team that are right in contention for this championship, you'd say, as McKay can't convert. Whittle, she gets her shot away, and it continues.
Oh, I'm getting lost for words, Liam. I don't know what else to say to try and get this one over the line. You know, this could be our first ever 0-point quarter to start a WNBL game.
Yeah, it is. We're looking down the barrel of history at the moment. Over a minute to go. Can they get a bucket? There it is. McKay comes up with it. You can see some relief from the Bendigo bench. Well, I'm glad we're not sitting here talking about history, Jenny. We have a bucket. So Kiana Williams now, the Lightning looking to continue their dominant start. She'll stop and fire. Shook with the O-board, back out to Talbot. Single-digit shot clock, and Talbot's three. Another offensive rebound. And we're up to number 7, I think, in the game already as a team.
Well, no, they've got 19 rebounds for the game. Bendigo obviously behind that with 7. They've got 6 O-boards, which doesn't help because that just allows, you know, second possessions and opportunities for the Adelaide Lightning. But when you've got Talbot being able to do things like that, it's going to be a very, very long night at the office. But luckily, Megan McKay was able to find the bottom of the nylon, I should say, to give the 2 points. Very much needed 2 points to the Bendigo Spirit in this first quarter.
16 seconds to find another, and turnover. So another tough break for Bendigo. Turnover number 7 in the quarter. Break through that press with ease, Adelaide. Now Williams has got to dispose of it. And in fact, they come up with the stop, Bendigo.
Nice little stop there, you know, 8 seconds on the clock, a little bit of momentum shift here. Hopefully they might get out to get another score on the board to run themselves into the end of this first quarter.
Levy, one last chance, and the layup misses, and that was after the buzzer expired. So that will do it for the end of one. It has been a historical first quarter, really, 32-2, and it was a 30-zip start, Jenny Screen. How did you see that one?
Yeah, look, when you're shooting 5% from the field, 1 of 17 compared to 12 of 22 for Adelaide, it's going to be tough. But now it's up to Bendigo. They've got to park that first quarter, and now they've just got to grind it out. You know, their backs are against the wall. The chances of them winning this one, even though we've got 30 minutes of basketball left, is tough, but it isn't undoable. We've seen 2 teams come back from first quarter deficits like this and be able to win. Hopefully Maddie Garrick, you might see some more input from her in the second quarter. She only saw, you know, about 4 minutes of that first quarter. And, you know, hopefully they just start to gel a bit. But if they can't gel offensively, they've got to start to gel defensively.
We'll have a short break. It's the Lightning leading by 30.
To everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. Until we dunk, hell yeah. When we roll into the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
Well, if you like what you've seen tonight, don't forget about Aussie Hoops, providing a fun and inclusive basketball experience for 5 to 10-year-olds. It serves as an introduction to a lifetime involvement in the game. Basketball is one of the most popular sports worldwide, a game that anyone can be involved in, and Aussie Hoops provides an introduction to the sport for over 100,000 kids in Australia every year. You've got the link on your screen right now to get involved. Liam Ellison here alongside Jenny Screens bringing this one. It's the Lightning with a dominant start here, 32-2 in the first period. Just about back underway. Can the Spirit come up with Bit of a better showing this quarter, do you think, Jenny?
Well, I think that's the optimism they have to go in. Tracy York, has to be optimistic in their approach. You park that one in terms of the scoreline. You go back to 0-0 and you try and win the next 3 quarters.
Garrick, there it is. First 3 ball goes. Good start for Bendigo. 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. Smith picks up her dribble. Stepping out for the 3 ball is Badish. Just ripped it out of her hands to Wilson. This is better from Bendigo. Garrick hit a 3 moments ago. Gets up her floater, drawing the foul.
Nice to see Garrick taking on the rookie, Sam Simons there. Obviously the switch on the screen. Sam Simons, we know that she's got a great capability to score one area of her game as a junior. She's only a pup. Her first season in the WNBL is her ability to contain someone in the one-on-one setting. So a great job there by Maddie Garrick to take on the younger, probably less proficient defender in Simons.
Missing on the second. This is more like it, though, if you're the Bendigo Spirit. Whittle out to Simons. Now she can fire for 3. Wilson with the O-board. Wastes no time. Bode running the fast break. Wilson with the O-board. We're on a run here to start the second period, Bendigo.
A run indeed of 4 points. They're doing very well. I like it, Liam. But the good thing is they're getting stops on the defensive end.
Williams from the elbow. And Bode is tangled up there with Badish. Jump ball. See who the possession arrow favours here. You're going to wonder, watching how this first 90 seconds has gone, where this was in the first quarter. Adelaide will retain possession. Talbot wants the screen. Now Smith will fire. Bobbled out. Skinner pulled it down. So can Bendigo continue their 6-0 start? Wilson pushing the issue, and she's drawn the foul.
Yeah, she put on the Jets there, and that was off the back of a little bit of what looked like a 1-2-2 or a 3-2 zone. Just throwing Adelaide into a little bit of sorts on the offensive end, and then Alex Wilson being able to get out with that stop and get herself to the line.
Eight and a half points per game this season, Alex Wilson.
Yeah, she was a late entry, obviously, into the WNBL this year. Hadn't signed with anyone. She played in the NBL 1 in Adelaide last year. She's played for the Sydney Flames for multiple years. She does have that X-factor ability about her, and she was lucky to get the call-up after Leilani Mitchell. Obviously, her season finished early.
So takes care of business from the charity stripe there, Wilson. Adelaide scoreless to start this quarter. Smith meets a pair of Bendigo defenders. Talbot a little strong. Now Wilson can go again. She's got Garrick in the corner. Little off. So Talbot pulls it down for Adelaide. Simons hands it over to Smith. Assessing her options now. Badish. Wayward pass. So Wilson comes up with it. Haven't put a foot wrong so far this quarter. Bendigo. Wilson will fire.
And they're not the shots, I mean, they're the shots that Alex Wilson, we know she can take it. It's been a good start to this quarter compared if we're trying to look for points of positivity for Bendigo. They're on an 8-0 run compared to the first quarter when it was a 30-0 run in that first. So it's a good transition from them to go from the first to the second. You know, they could have packed up shop, but right now Chris Lucas is calling a timeout because he ain't happy with that 8-point run that we're seeing from the Bendigo Spirit.
And did all of that as well with Annalise Maley on the bench, who looks set to check in after this timeout. Much better for Bendigo, now trailed by 22.
So don't run back, I want you in, someone else will cover behind you. We're in diamond of this one.
See if we can catch some of this timeout from Tracy York.
Diamond 1, 2, 1, 1. No, we'll go back to man on this. Let's go, Maddie, you're at the free throw. Alex, you're middle. Meek's back covering baskets, don't come out of the keyway on it. Here we go, let's go, girls. Let's run your screens. Next time without Here we go,
Pretty exuberant with her troops after the first few minutes for Bendigo.
Tracy's a pretty calm coach. Rarely does she fly off the handle or you know, hand down some rap to her players. It sounded like they were going to go into a bit of a diamond press off this out of bounds here, which you can see, which is kind of like a 1-2-1-1 action, maybe just to disrupt Adelaide a little bit, like they have been in their half-court zone as well.
Simon's baseball pass ahead. Williams will slow it up. Big screen on Wilson, and that'll be an offensive foul.
I think the hair whip made it look worse than what it actually was. Probably just a little bit of lack of timing between Williams and Shook there, but you know, way to make it noticeable from Alex Wilson.
Shook just took it away from McKay. So now Talbot hands it back out to Simons. Smith posting up. Little handoff in the key to Simons, no good. So Maley back into the ball game in the second quarter. Second turnover running for Bendigo. So some of their previous errors now starting to rear their ugly head again if you're the Spirit. Luckily, a miss there from Kylie Shook. McKay hands it over to Wilson. Now inside to Maley, who fades away for two.
Really tough shot there for Annalise Maley, her first points of the game, which is interesting considering we're almost halfway through this first half, and she normally averages around 19 points a game.
It's now a 10-0 start to the quarter for Bendigo, so Smith will draw the foul, see if she can put an end to that.
And this is always the challenge when you are up here, as we see the replay of Annalise, nice little fadeaway to her right. But for Adelaide Lightning, you know, you're up by 32, you go into a little bit of complacency because you're up by so much, and it's showing in the start of the second quarter to be a 0-10 deficit in the quarter alone rather than the total score. So here's a challenge for Adelaide Lightning to see if they can get themselves back on track.
First one misses for Smith. There's the first point for the quarter for Adelaide. Still 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Let's see if Bendigo can continue to chip away at that lead. Talbot, though, comes up with a steal, easy bucket.
McKay just being a little bit sloppy with the ball. That's twice in this quarter that we've seen her be stripped in terms of just fronting up. She's a big, strong body, and that shouldn't happen for her.
Smith's, Alex Wilson, excuse me, steps out for the triple. Risky pass comes off. Talbot will slow it up. Turnover's starting to mount up for Bendigo. Inside to Smith, just retrieved it. She's drawn the... In fact, that'll be an offensive foul. Doesn't look thrilled with the call.
was a great take, like a really tough catch from Alana Smith, showing her athleticism there, and it just turned into her left shoulder just a little bit too aggressively, shall we say, but either way, it's the call of the referees, and you just got to go with it.
Wilson's drawn a couple of fouls this quarter. Lively few minutes for her. Garrett, Smith got a hand in. Now Williams. Bendigo retained possession. What's the call here from the referee?
Technical foul.
I think it's a tech foul on Maddie Garrick, having a few little words to the referee. She wasn't happy with being stripped or bumped, which now just leads the momentum back into Adelaide Lightning's hands. Send Adelaide to the line, you know, one foul shot and possession.
So Talbot to take it for Adelaide. To 4 start this quarter for Bendigo. Maley hit a bucket from this spot moments ago. Same result. Put up 15 points in 5 minutes now, Bendigo, here in the second. Whittle to the hoop. She will head back to the free throw line.
She loves that short little corner jumper. We've seen her hit 2 from that area right now, and you see again a 2-man game. And I think Whittle just got bailed out very quick, or late there at the end by the referees, as I thought it was a nice little clean hand to the ball there from Bendigo.
First one's good for Marina Whittle. Doing some great work on the Adelaide Lightning Instagram page today, mind you. Jump on that if you haven't already. Here's Wilson. Aggressive drive to the hoop. Maley, who else? Ortlip and Maley getting tangled up. So foul call on Maley. Just reaching in slightly at the end there on Taylor Ortlip by the looks.
Got to give it to her though. Like she's battling 1 against 3 there, trying to get the rebound and possession to her teammates. Sometimes doing it alone, you know, while everyone else is just standing around and looking. The unfortunate thing for her is that's her second foul. She's got to be careful here now, not to get her third.
So Whittle, 3-point attempt. Shook with another offensive rebound. Whittle tried to hand it inside to Smith. Wilson got a fingertip on it.
And that, right now for Bendigo, I mean, they've done a sensational job in this quarter. But for me, it's just the offensive rebounding. They're giving Adelaide Lightning too many second looks, and they're too good a team to be doing that to. I mean, 10 offensive rebounds, and we're not even, we've got 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. That's pretty tough. That's an extra 10 shots, and now make that 11 that Adelaide get to have a look at.
Shook hands it out to Whittle in the corner. Up to 8 points in the game now, Marina Whittle. Lady steps into a 3 and mainly crushing the glass hard. Leading scorer in this one, Alana Smith with 10, then Talbot with 9, and Whittle and Brooke both with 8 apiece for the Lightning off the bench. First one's good for Maley, to 6. Spirit pressing up. Skips it over to Whittle. Now Ortler can fire from the wing. Another 3-ball for Adelaide. Fighting back here in the second quarter, scoring tally, the Lightning.
And look, she doesn't get much court time, but she's actually shoots at a 55% clip from the three-point line, as we see. Bode getting a much-needed bucket for the Bendigo Spirit, but good job there from the Lightning and Ortler to drain that three out of the press action.
So timeout on the floor. It's the Lightning 44 leading Bendigo 21. And to their credit, Bendigo scored 19 points in this period, but in the last couple of minutes, Adelaide has started to regain a bit of ascension, I feel.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, when you're up by 30 points at a quarter-time break, you're always going to have that, sense of comfortableness about the way you play, and it's always going to be tough for Bendigo. They can put on runs, and they did. They had a 10-point run to start the second quarter, but it's always going to be tough. But, for me, Adelaide Lightning have 16 points off the bench compared to Bendigo, who have 0. And that's really tough. You need players and role players off the bench that can come in and have impact. And that's really tough when your starting five don't get it done to start the game. 30-0, it's really hard for someone off the bench to come and have an impact. So, hopefully off the backs of that, Wilson, I think she's been the best of the rest, if I'm being honest, for Bendigo so far in this game. Maddie's had glimpses. Want to see more from Levy, getting to the rack a little bit more, potentially creating for others. And then also McKay, I think she could dominate a little bit more down low. She's just been a little bit soft for my liking.
3 turnovers so far in this game for Megan McKay. And Alex Wilson, -10 for Bendigo. Some of their other starters up there around the 20-25 mark. So,
well, everyone's going to be in the negative, Liam, because of the scoreline. So it's always going to be tough when you're looking at the plus minuses. For Tracy York, that's not going to mean much for her. For me, it's more the possession game. Can they lock in on the defensive end, get more rebounds, not allow any more offensive rebounds? Can they look after the ball? They've got 11 turnovers. They're the things that they need to control.
And off to Talbot. Shot clock winding down now. Here's Brooke, 8 points to her name. A little too much on that pass.
But I liked the action. Shook was down low. She has been a threat in the first quarter, and then they overplayed her. They three-quarter front. You see Bode there finding position, and Shook just should have held that position as Bode fronted her in the low block. You saw Chelsea Brooke come up to try to get that high-low action. It was just, operation successful, but patient died.
Wilson follows her own miss and kicks it back out in the way of Ortler. Now Shook. Hand off to Talbot. She'll stop and fire. Bendigo somehow got away with that possession. Nearly another offensive rebound. Bode tried to give it to McLean. No good. Talbot will settle things down here. 4 steals already to her name. Whittle. And Ortler did well, got a hand in. Stays with Adelaide, last touch by Bode. Sly move from Taylor Ortler. As Mary Goulding checks back in. Brooke inside to Talbot. She's got front position. Uncharacteristic miss. Maley pushing the issue, and she draws the foul.
How that girl gets up all the time, I don't know. She finds the pine and she hits it hard all the time, and she just grinds it out. For any young male or female basketballer watching, you want to have that tenacity that she has. It's just phenomenal to watch, and so courageous and brave the way she plays.
First one just missing. Starting to have that impact we've become accustomed to in the second period. Adelaide Maley. 7 points now in the quarter. Just over 90 seconds remaining here in the first half. Cross court from Talbot, too much on it.
And that's what Bendigo have to do. They just have to, you know, take a gamble, play some pressing action in the full court, or change it up in the half court into some zones to try and force Adelaide like they're into some turnovers, to try and give themselves some better opportunities on offensive end, and hopefully they can start to capitalise a little bit.
Levy, cross court to Goulding this time. Corner three, no good. Bode. Great rebounding from Bendigo. Talbot waiting for some assistance. Shook provides it with the screen. Free ball off there from Brazel. Maley steps into a long two. Back below 20 points as the first half winds down. Now Talbot picked up her dribble, hands it inside to Shook, stepping away. Classy move.
That's a tough shot. I mean, she made it look very, very easy as we go with 10 seconds to go at the end of this second quarter. A nice finish for Adelaide Maley to run out and lead with a little bit of momentum heading into the second half for the Bendigo Spirit.
So that'll do it. The Lightning 46 lead Bendigo 28 at the end of the first half. But Bendigo, despite what was a really tough opening quarter, scored 26 points in the period, Jenny. Not a bad return.
No, that's great. I mean, if we were to compartmentalise the quarters, 26 to 14 compared to 2 to 32 in the first, you'd be happy as the coaching staff of the Bendigo Spirit. You know, now the challenge is, can they continue that 30-point deficit at quarter time? Now it's almost achievable. You're under 20 now. It's a bit more comfortable. You get a bit more confidence thinking, okay, if we can just in the third quarter drag it back to maybe 10 points, then anything can happen in the fourth. So hopefully that's the mentality they come out, but can't underestimate Adelaide Lightning and the way they came out to start the game.
Some of the highlights from the first half, and it all started with Adelaide. 30 zip, if you've just joined us, was the start to this one. Alana Smith is leading the way with 10 points, and Talbot as well. Hasn't she been great once again? Sensational,
and it's not just scoring, it's, you know, rebounding. She's leading the game with 7 rebounds. She's had some great steals. She's got 4. Every player that's hit the floor has actually scored for the Adelaide Lightning, which is good to see. When you've got 16 points coming off the bench, that makes it really, really hard when you're the opposition trying to shut anyone down.
From the Bendigo perspective, Adelaide Maley had 11 points all in the second period, and Ali Wilson as well was great with a 3 and a couple of rebounds and assists as well.
Yeah, and Maddie Garrick, she did a great job at the start of that second. She hit a 3 and then found herself at the foul line as well. But ball possession and offensive rebounding has to get better for the Spirit if there's any chance of crawling this one back. And obviously their shooting percentage was much better in the second. It went from 5 to 29%. That's something still needs to be cleaned up. But for me, it's those other things that they control. The offensive rebounding count, you know, 12 rebounds is just unacceptable at this level. That's more of a game, a full game kind of scenario. But there was a lot of positives for Tracy York to take out of that second quarter.
Turnovers as well. Bendigo has 13 for the game, 9 for Adelaide, and there are those stats on the screen for you right now. It's the Lightning leading this one. They look to jump above Melbourne and recover a clear third position on the table. 46 to 28. We'll catch you in about 5-10 minutes time for the second half of this one. The Lightning by 18.
congratulations. We're pleased to give a huge welcome to the court from Bendigo's very own cheer and dance. Let's give it up for Bendigo. Yeah, give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic stuff. The Bendigo's up cheer and dance. Bendigo Heat, great stuff. Thank you very much indeed, ladies. Okay, coming up very soon. Big second half coming up. Let's get behind our Bendigo spirit, make plenty of noise. And welcome as we got a half to go in the Bendigo.
Hello and welcome back to Bendigo Stadium for this matchup between the Lightning and the Bendigo Spirit. It's the Lightning by 18 points here. Liam Elson here alongside Jenny Screen. And whether you want to be your best, Spalding believe everyone should have the opportunity to play basketball. Grab yourself a ball and get started today at spalding.com.au. Spalding are the official ball partner of the WNBL. Well, it was a bit of a tale of two quarters, so to speak, in that one, Jenny. Of course, 30-0 start by the Lightning, but Bendigo fought back a bit.
Yeah, they did. They were great in that second quarter, you know, but it's those little details that we discussed. You mentioned turnovers. They have 13, and unfortunately, the Adelaide Lightning have made the most of those turnovers, adding 12 points, I should say, to their tally off those turnovers. Adelaide themselves have 9, which isn't great. We know that's something that they struggle with so far in this season. They average almost 16 per game, which is, I think, second in terms of teams across the WNBL. So that's something they need to tidy up too if they're going to press for that top 4 and potentially top 2 final finish for the WNBL. But here we go. We're under 20 points for the Bendigo Spirit, and anything can happen if they can get it under 10 for this third quarter.
Can they start the third quarter on a run similar to the second? Stays with Bendigo here. It was a 10-0 start to the second for Bendigo. Nine to work with on the shot clock. Garrick steps out for 3. Oh, that is a tough shot from Garrick.
And what a way to start the third quarter for the Bendigo Spirit. Very similar to the start of the second. She came out and drained a 3 in the start of that second quarter. So nice little run here, and just getting themselves inching back. 15 points now. Ouch! Ashok does the same thing.
Fires straight back. So back out to 18. Bendigo look like they've got their tails up though here. Moving it around, Levy picks up her dribble. Inside to Maley, and one, draws the foul.
And you just could see the energy and the connectedness between the girls. Ball movement was good there. McKay just setting a nice screen, and then Smith getting distracted and drawing across to McKay on the dive there to try and help Shook out, who just showed a little bit, which wasn't necessary, and allowing Annalie Maley to go to the line for a 3-point play.
Converts on the free throw. Now Williams and Levy. Gets around Garrick, goes baseline, finds Shook cutting to the hoop. Looks like it was a foot out of bounds on Kylie Shook. So Bendigo ball. Six to 3 start already to this third. Chance to add to it. Wilson does so.
And here you go. We go from 30-point deficit in the first quarter to now trailing by just 13 points at the start of the third quarter.
Levy nearly came up with a steal. 17-point turnaround, nothing to be sniffed at. Remember just how dominant Adelaide were to start this one. McKay goes baseline, and she's drawn the foul.
I think that was a foul from the bottom of the backboard. I don't need to see that one on the replay here, but great little two-man game, and obviously Wilson finding her way to the bucket. She's been great in the second quarter, especially for the Bendigo Spirit. And then McKay hasn't found herself in this game yet. She averages normally 10 points per game and 7 rebounds. She's been pretty quiet and a bit reserved, I believe. So hopefully she can add a bit of punch in this third quarter, both offensively and defensively.
Splits a pair from the line. Bendigo continue to chip away at this lead. Game on now here at Bendigo Stadium. Wilson pulls up from the block. Straight to Maley. Who else? No good. Talbot kicks it ahead. Williams will pull up for the transition 3. Shook with the O-board. Maybe rushed it on that attempt. Now Levy can fire. Wide open. single digits.
Wow, what a comeback from the Bendigo Spirit. To be honest, Liam, I was sitting here at halftime going, oh my goodness, this is done. It ain't a good game, but here you go. The Bendigo Spirit bench is up, about. They're cheering, they're excited. Now can they hold this deficit? Yes, it's going to probably go back and throw now from 10 to maybe 8 points, but just getting it under 10 gives you a sniff.
They look confident, the Spirit, back in this one. Would you believe it? And a costly turnover there. Miscommunication. Talbot. It'll stay with the Lightning. Looks like she wanted free throws.
You can see Chris Lucas there. He'd be pretty frustrated, you know, with such a great start in the first quarter, and then they just lull themselves into this fulfilling prophecy or confidence that everything's just going to be fine and we'll just get through it easy, and they so might in this second half. But credit to Bendigo, they didn't go down dying. They could have just capitulated at the end of that first quarter, and we could have ended up with a 50-point ball game, an embarrassing game on their home court. But they've been sensational, and to grind it back like they have is a credit to what we talk about, is that blue-collar work that they're just about, this team.
Absolutely, they're a tough team, the Spirit. Right all the way to the final buzzer. There's Ortlook. Three from the top's a little strong. Now Levy can push the pace. Inside to Maley. No score, wave it off. Before the shot by the looks. Matty Garrett will inbound. And of course, heading off to Tasmania after this one, the Spirit. 2 games against the Southside Flyers starting on Saturday. That'll be exciting for Bendigo. Wilson steps out for another triple.
That was great execution there. That was a little bit of Spanish action, which is a screen by the big to the point guard, and then another guard comes up for a back screen on the big, and then Alex Wilson just pops to that 3 and doing what Alex can do, is draining it from deep. And here we see this surge again continuing from the Bendigo Spirit.
Back to an 8-point ball game. Almost within touching distance now, the Spirit. Levy hesitates, get Williams jumping. Contested 2, no good. Maley did well. Fresh 14 for Bendigo. McKay provides the screen. Levy searching for a teammate. She goes herself. The Spirit continue to march along. Maley did well. Again, the Spirit come up with a stop. 6-point in the margin. Pushing ahead. Garrett thought about the triple. Finds her way in. Overboard by McKay, and Shook finally settles things down for Adelaide. Free throw line, Jay, from Whittle is no good.
You can see the Bendigo bench just living and dying by every possession right now of the Bendigo Spirit, which is nice to see because they were pretty quiet in that first quarter when they were down by 30.
Been a remarkable comeback, really. Smith comes up with a rebound against Maley. She's got 3 Bendigo defenders ahead of her. Now Talbot wide open from the corner. That corrects some momentum. Oh, it's been waved off, has it?
No, the 3 points have counted, but I think that's a foul after the shot had been released. And that's the frustrating thing for the Bendigo Spirit, is that they're getting that momentum, they're getting some good looks, they've had some great runs, but then they take silly shots or shots that are not great shots, and then that allows Adelaide to, you know, take a good shot like they did in transition there and then get the lead back out to 9 points.
So timeout 54-45. Bendigo continue to 17-5 this quarter. In fact, 17-8 it will become in a few moments. But a great third quarter so far for Bendigo, who really, since, you know, the first quarter, have dominated this ball game just about.
Yeah, and I'm sure the message from Tracy York would have just been win every quarter from now. Let's forget about the first quarter. We can't do anything about that. Whereas Chris Lucas now is like, girls, we've got to get our stuff together. This ain't good enough right now, and they're coming at us. Defensively, I think they've been poor in this quarter in terms of keeping players in front of them. Transition-wise as well, it's almost what happened to the Bendigo Spirit in the first quarter, where Bendigo have been able to get out and run and dominate on the offensive end in that first 7 seconds. So, you know, it'll be interesting how both teams come out of this quarter, or this three-quarter time, this timeout in the third quarter with 5 minutes left to go.
Bendigo will be full of confidence. 2-game win streak, of course, coming into this one, and now they've come back from a 30-point deficit, still trailed by 9, but right in the ball game nonetheless. Maley leading the way with 14, Alex Wilson with 12. For Adelaide, it's Steph Talbot with 14 points, 8 rebounds and 5 steals as well. And Lana Smith with 10 and 7. Levy faked the handoff. Now she'll kick it out to Garrick for 3. And Shook pulls it down. Talbot picked up her dribble. Now Brooke gets around McKay, hands it inside to Shook. Stays with the visitors.
And that's just too easy blow by for Chelsea Brooks against McKay there on the closeout, allowing her an opportunity to get 2 feet in the paint.
Talbot hands it to Shook. Wilson nearly got a hold of it. Another O-board for Adelaide.
Foul.
See that foul call there on Bendigo. That'll be on McKay.
And Steph Talbot just being the glue girl, getting the rebounds. You know, she's had a stellar game thus far, 15 points, the 9 rebounds now, and we know that she's just signed recently in the WNBL, which is really exciting for her, gets to go back. And she's made a name for herself over there. We know Christy Wallace is just, you know, activated with Atlanta Dream as well, which is exciting. More players from Australia in the Opals squad that they're getting over to play in America.
Now 12 WNBL players in the WNBA currently, including imports and Australians. Great to see so much great talent down here in the WNBL.
Third personal. It's the bench, in for Bendigo Spirit.
Back out to 12-point lead. Williams ahead to Talbot. She's open from the wing. Adelaide regain control. Garrick crosses over, gets her shot away, just a touch strong. Whittle with the rebound. Talbot's been fantastic once again in this one. Williams, floater's good.
And that's only her second field goal for the game, Williams. She's been pretty quiet in this one, but I mean, you know, when you're getting contributions from everyone that's hitting the court, it makes it quite easy, and the pressure isn't there to score.
9-0 run for the Lightning as Levy is fouled. Should have come up a little bit sore.
And this is the challenge here for Bendigo. They've had such a great run, you know, a good 15 minutes of basketball as we see Steph Talbot coming across with that heavy foul against Tessa Levy. But the challenge now for Bendigo is, can they just hold on? Can they get it back under 10 and allow themselves the next, after the third quarter break? Oh my goodness, I can't get my words out. Can they have that last 10 minutes to allow themselves just to crawl back? And you never know what's going to happen in that last 10 minutes.
Back on their home deck for the first time in a month as well, the Spirit. Maybe missing on that attempt. So stepped in a touch early. She'll get another crack at it, Tess Levy. And this time she takes advantage. Bendigo looking to press up. Back over to Williams. Get it over in the end. Here's Sam Simons off the pine. Out of bounds. Another stop for the Spirit. Just had that left foot planted on the line. Bode hands it off to Levy, who's wide open.
And there's some really good action on the weak side there. You know, Maley and Wilson and everyone from that late line was just distracted by those two, and Tessa Levy was able to put the jets on and go a little bit of ISO on the wing there and get herself to the bucket.
Simons. Kick out to Shook in the corner. It's back iron. Levy, bullet pass ahead. Wilson thought about the triple. Oh, Levy, nice move. And foot violation on the Lightning.
Nice little veteran read there of the overplay, and then we see the craftiness of between the legs and then faking high and ripping it back down low against the bigger defender to allow themselves another opportunity with this baseline out of bounds play.
Levy inbounds to Wilson. And Goulding crashing the glass. Last touch by the Lightning. Trying to chip into that 13-point lead. Can they make it single digits going into the last? Levy, 9 points and 5 dimes to her name. Just missing on the lay-in.
She's missed quite a few of those tonight. Those just little rim runners that have just rimmed in and out for her. She's done a great job of getting 2 feet in the paint most of the time, but just hasn't been able to capitalise on finishing 3 of 8. Doing a great job, 9 points, and also got 5 assists to her name as well.
Back into Sam Simons. Out to her fellow benchmate Whittle. Spinning Whittle inside. Brooks come up with the O-board. Bench unit out there playing for Adelaide, and Simons' 3 is just off. Maley rebounds and goes. Puts it behind her back. Maley to the hoop. So it's a 21-16 quarter in Bendigo's favour as it stands. But Adelaide have done just enough so far. Blocked by Wilson. Levy kicks it back out to Wilson. She can fire. O-board for Goulding. Mid-range 2 from Bogue is no good, and another offensive rebound for the New Zealander. Mary Goulding. Reward for effort.
Ooh, took the words right out of my mouth. 2 offensive rebounds there and a 2-point putback for just hard work. Again, just grind, and we can see 20 seconds left on the clock, and Adelaide will run this one out, and hopefully Bendigo can get a stop.
Brazel kicks it out to Shook. Big, big three ball for Adelaide.
And that's just been the difference when you feel like Bendigo are getting a sniff and back into it. And we saw Steph Talbot hit 2 threes, and then we saw Shook hit a 3 as well. And that just pushes back the margin back a little bit more. But hey, credit to Bendigo. They haven't gone out wondering, and they're not going to die wondering, I should say, in this fourth quarter. And I think they'll push Lightning here.
Bendigo win another quarter here, but it's the Lightning leading 65-51. We'll catch you in a couple of minutes to bring you the fourth quarter. Well, in September, the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup is returning to Australian shores for the first time in 27 years, featuring 12 teams, 144 of the world's best players, and 38 games across 10 days. The FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup will deliver plenty of action for Aussie basketball fans up there in Sydney. Sign up for first access to tickets at womensworldcup.basketball.
How exciting is that? A World Cup in Australia with the Australian Opals. The first time we played on home soil in a very long time. I think Oz 94 was the last time. I mean, I was fortunate enough to play against Team USA in 2006 in Canberra before the World Cup in Brazil. So exciting times, and it's also, you know, been a long time since we won the gold in 06, you know, as well. And I'm really excited for youngsters around Australia, both boys and girls, to play this great game of ours, get to see our Australian players, which doesn't happen very often on our home soil.
Of course, yourself are a member of the 06 team as well, Jenny. And do you think your former teammate Lauren Jackson's any chance?
No. I love that she's gotten fit and she's, you know, found the juice to come back, and she'll be sensational for Albury. She'll put them back on the map, and watch this space. They probably will win a banner. And it's really good for the NBL 1 that she's coming back. You know, if her body gets right, who knows? But I'd be very surprised. All she's focusing right now on is just enjoying playing again. It was a pretty arduous, you know, 6-7 years for her. But to go from nothing and elite basketball, and then 8 years later then have to put on the green and gold, that's a pretty tough ask. But hey, if she can do it, I'm sure Sandy Brondello wouldn't say no.
Yeah, massive for the Albury-Wodonga Bandits. Made the move to the NBL 1 East as well, so huge coup for Sydney-siders and people in the ACT. Very exciting as Adelaide get the first bucket here to start the fourth. 16-point leaders now. Maley trying to make something happen. Bo got the hand in, so lightning ball. Great to see Taylor Brazel out there off the bench. Just 9.5 minutes per game this season.
Yeah, she's a good young South Australian junior Metro player. I watched her at the Under-18 Nationals last year, and I'm a big fan of what she can do. She destroyed us, actually. You know, I'm one of the high-performance coaches at Basketball Victoria and for the Women's Metro, and SA Metro beat us in the final, and she was one of the main reasons, along with Izzy Boulays, who's at the COE, who was able to come back in Christmas time and play some really good minutes, as we see Marina Whittle put another 2 points onto the scoreboard for the Adelaide Lightning.
And Whittle now up to 11 points in the ballgame. As Wilson fading away, no good. Last touch by Goulding. Wilson's fought hard all evening, really. 12 points, 7 boards, and 3 blocks as well, go along with 2 steals for Wilson.
She's been around the league a long time now. She was quite an X factor for the Sydney Flames for many years. She's played at Australian junior level as well, and went to the World Uni Games under Chris Lucas back in 2017, and was a great contributor along with the likes of Christy Wallace and also Darcy Garvin, who now see who have stepped up in the Opal. She's one that, for me, I thought would have gone to that next step, and she just hasn't done that yet, I should say. Doesn't mean she can't, and I hope that she is able to put some good years ahead of her, but one that's getting better and better is that girl on screen, Annalene Maley, and it'll be interesting to see what plays out for her in the next couple of years in terms of not only WNBL, but where she sits in terms of international basketball.
Just missing out as well on those qualifiers just a few weeks ago. What a season she's having. Annalene Maley brings it back to 15. Badish make it 17. Pushing the pace, Bendigo. Post up now for Maley, and she takes advantage. Brazel sees parted all the way to the hoop, and she's missed on the lay-in. Levy inside to Megan McKay. She's doubled. Another offensive rebound for Maley.
Wow, the referees are letting a lot go on both ends of the floor at the moment for both teams.
Looks to be last touched by Maley. Timeout on the floor. 13 points the margin. Bendigo still just hanging on at this stage, you'd say.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you know, anything can happen. A few back-to-back threes or quick buckets and things like that. You know, both teams are battling hard down low. I think the refs are letting things go. It'll be interesting to see if they tighten up. I'd love to see Maddie Garrick. She's been pretty quiet. I don't know if there's a couple of injuries for her. I mean, we know she's battled the ankle. But let's have a listen in to Tracy York and see if we can hear what's going to happen out of this.
Go straight back up with it. Go straight back up with it. You don't have to take the dribble, just take it up. If we haven't got anything easy, we bring it out with our head tap. In fact, I probably don't want you just run a single on ball for our end of clock. Can we do 3 down, please? 3 down on the next one. Have a look at what opens up, but you must stay on the ball and finish the defense.
So Tracy York there addressing her troops that trail by 13. Still in this one, the Spirit. Annalene Maley brought up her double-double just moments ago. 19 points, 10 boards. But the Lightning have won the rebounding battle so far in this game. 44-39, they lead there. Inbounds to Ella Badish. Throws it off the hand of Maley. Turnover. Got 3 Lightning defenders ahead of her. Doesn't stop Annalene Maley though.
T-O-U-G-H, just the definition of tough is that young woman.
Another big game for her, the MVP candidate for Bendigo. Whittle. Here's Talbot wide open from the corner. Maley again with the ball in hand. Inside to McKay, and the Bendigo Spirit are back within 9. Brazel hands it off to Brooke. Talbot's been fantastic again this evening. Shot clock winding down. Badish has got a fire. That's a long 2.
She's been good for her minutes. She's had 4 points and, you know, drained 2 from 2, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, or 2 from 3 as we see Levy hitting a big 3 and getting the closest they have been since tip-off at the start of this game, Liam.
Just 6 points the margin. Can you believe it? Bendigo trying to come up with a stop. Talbot. Maley did well, but will stay with the Lightning. Shot clock winding down. And Golding comes up with a stop for Bendigo. Maley tries to give it inside to McKay, and Talbot just rips it out of her arms. Talbot's picked up her dribble over to Whittle. Lot of space at the top of the perimeter. Can't take advantage. Levy, long pass inside. McKay, another bucket. Count it. The Spirit are coming.
Oh, and aren't they spirited right now? Huge bucket. Really brave pass there from Tessa Levy, but great rim running from big Megan McKay. She's been quiet. I've been pretty harsh on her tonight in terms of her input, but in the second half, she's been a lot better, finishing a lot more. She's going straight up to the rim rather than wanting a desire to put it on the floor, which she doesn't need to do given her size. And let's hope she can nail this bucket. Then I'd love to see Maddie Garrett come back into the game. I think she has. If she hasn't, I hope she's soon. And then they can start to get some momentum with her as well, because they need points. And they're not getting them from a lot of people.
So score is 66 to the Lightning 73. Still with a nice little buffer, the Lightning. Could we be in for an exciting finish? You wouldn't have thought it in the first quarter. 30-zip start if you just joined us. And is that a foul on the Spirit? Looks to be.
Oh, that's tough when you've got your baseline referee who's right there and sees it and then gets overcalled by the high referee behind the play. Really tough, but great little battle there down low between Shook and McKay. And I think we'll see that a lot in this last couple of minutes in the fourth quarter.
So Shook, chance at the charity stripe, takes advantage. .13 points, 9 rebounds in the game. Turnover. Alana Smith comes up with a costly error for Bendigo. Hand off to Whittle. Now Marina Whittle inside the key, kicks it out to her big and Shook. Blocked though by Wilson. Block number 4, can you believe it, for the Bendigo guard. Hesitates, drives on Williams. And she's drawn the foul.
Great job. Nice use of her length there and width of her wingspan to, and then that nice little hezzy taking Kiana Williams to the rack and getting another possession here.
Inbounds to Megan McKay. Levy can step back for 2.
Yes, girlfriend.
Gets it to go, and the Spirit, they're rolling now. Back to a 5-point ball game. Another stop for Bendigo. Maley to her left. Good D from Smith.
I was about to say great rim running there by Alana Smith. You could see that was going to be a layup. She was already making it before it even happened. But just down the other end, you know, Bendigo are getting the stops, which is great, but they're just not getting the right shots at the right time to allow them to close the deficit.
So 68 to 75 is the score as it reads. And Levy, another 3! She's been fantastic in this second half, Tessa Levy. Now up to 17 points.
She had 4 points at halftime and was 1 of 5 shooting and has just come to play in this third and fourth quarter. Absolutely sensational.
4-point ball game. Lightning need a response. Smith fading away. Tough bucket.
tough bucket, and a person you want to respond is Smith or Talbot. I feel for mine, Adelaide Lightning are just kind of hoping the clock goes down and they're winning this one. Rather than executing well, they're getting a bit sloppy on the offensive end. They're not running their sets. They're not getting the ball into the right people's hands to get the scores.
Can they correct it here? Talbot and Goulding. She can come up with it. She's got Wilson ahead of her. Goes all the way herself.
She's lucky she made that. I was about to say, give that ball up, girlfriend, but she earned that with her hard work. She's been sensational. Another player in this second half is Goulding.
Back to a 4-point ball game. 3 minutes on the clock. Smith turns around from the free-throw line. Another clutch shot from Smith.
Tough. I thought Anna Lee Maley did a great job there to cut her off and not allow her to get to the rack. But, you know, great D, but even better offense there by Smith.
McKay inside to a cutting Levy. Gets it to go for Bendigo.
And you can just see Chris Lucas calling that much-needed timeout. He was trying to run the clock down and let this one go, but right now, when you're only down by 6 against a very hungry Bendigo Spirit who really have nothing to lose, they're only 7th on the ladder. They've had some great looks. Nice little back-cut play from the veteran there, Tessa Levy, and what a finish over the taller length of Marina Whittle.
What a fourth quarter from Tessa Levy as well, up to 19 points rather, and 6 assists in the ball game.
But that's what they need off her, and considering Maddie Garrick's only played 15 minutes, and then we know she's shot 2 of 10, and really she hasn't been on this fourth quarter, has Garrick, except for the start when she drained that 3 again. You need players like that. You can't just rely on Maley every single game. Let's have a listen to Tracy York.
All right, but late clock, trying to deny your player. If it's Steph, if it's Alana, they've got someone else switching everything. Yes, switch everything if we need to. Late clock, we should do it. Offensively, we wanted you for your side, but it was great. We got that to your side. Yes, we got that, and we got pistol action. Here we go. Let's bring it home. Let's go. Keep playing.
A lot of energy in that Bendigo huddle. Trailed by just 4 points now.
Who would have thought if you could have just eradicated in that first quarter, you know, we wouldn't be having this discussion. But boy, oh boy, credit to Bendigo Spirit for just not capitulating and letting this one go. And right now, we've got a ball game in our hands. If they can get a stop here, oh, it's going to be exciting.
So Whittle played some heavy minutes off the bench today for Adelaide. Williams nearly turned it over. Now Levy's got a hand in. Jump ball.
Great D by Levy, and a possession error is heading for Bendigo Spirit, which is awesome. So that's the stop they needed. Now, can they capitalise with a great offensive set and get this margin from 4 to maybe 2 or even 1 if they can drain a 3?
Unbelievable from where we've come from to be staring down the barrel of potentially a 1-possession ball game. McKay hands it off to Wilson, and she's dribbled it off her foot. So Bendigo will have to come up with another stop here if they're to continue their run. Currently lead the fourth period, 24-14. Looks to be a foul call on Tessa Levy. Just the second for her.
Yeah, I was pretty in greens there with Tessa Levy. A little bit of a double dribble there by Adelaide Lightning, bailed out by the referees, but here we go. 5 possessions left within this game, and a much-needed stop for the Bendigo if they can.
Talbot finding a way through for 2, missing on the lay-in. But another costly offensive rebound if you're Bendigo. Smith can step out. Had her influence so far in the fourth, but not that time. 90 seconds to work with. Wilson to Goulding. Bendigo flipping it round on the perimeter. Maley can step out for three. Ambitious attempt. And last touch by Shook. So Bendigo get another chance here.
Great hands there by Smith. There was a poor execution play from the Bendigo Spirit, not really knowing who wanted to take the leadership or ownership of that play. And you can see, I believe Chris Lucas may have called this time out, but it probably is Bendigo, to be honest, with 4.5 seconds left on the shot clock, trying to draw up a play.
Big possession coming up for the Spirit. Hanley Maley, 21 and 12. See if we can listen to Tracy York here.
Dive and come straight forward. It's 2 seconds and straight in. It's a shot. So we're looking at
So it might be a bit hard to pick that one up. We've got Levy as well with 19 points and 6 assists. Ali Wilson as well with 12 rounds out, the double-digit scorers for the Spirit. And if you've just joined us, it's a 30-0 start in this game for Adelaide. 32-2 at quarter time. Since then, Bendigo have won every quarter and brought it back to a 4-point ball game with just over a minute to go. And what will they draw up here, do you think, Jenny?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, obviously, Wilson has been a threat. Annalee's been a threat. There's only 3.5 seconds, I think, or about 4 seconds on the clock. So it might be a staggers kind of section and then a dive to the bucket, but it's got to be quick, executed well, good screening action, cutting with purpose to allow someone that great shot.
Levy into Garrick. Just inside the arc and no good. Big stop for the Lightning.
And Garrick's been injected back into the game. We've seen her sit on the bench for pretty much the last bit of the fourth quarter. It'll be interesting to see if she's going to have an impact in this last 50 seconds.
So here we go. Kylie Shook inside to Whittle. Working hard. They come up with a stop, Bendigo. 45 seconds to go. Tessa Levy, who's been so good in this fourth period. No good there. And Talbot fighting hard.
And that was not a bad shot. They wanted it. They needed a quick 2-for-1 kind of scenario, given there was only 2 possessions left on the shot clock. So a quick shot was good. It just didn't find the bottom of the net for Tessa Levy. But great screen there by Megan McKay. And then even better rebound there by Opal and potential MVP Steph Talbot, who has just been, all class tonight yet again for her Adelaide Lightning teammates.
Just stay in the ball game by the looks, Talbot. A tough fall to the ground just moments ago.
Bendigo are going to have to be up and in here. They're going to have to force some fouls or potentially a turnover, get scrappy and either get Adelaide to the foul line to allow themselves a possession. Otherwise, they're going to run out of time.
Taking care of business from the free-throw line today, the Lightning. 84% as a team. So again, they double Talbot. She finds a way out of it. Adelaide are in no rush. Just letting the clock wind down. Williams now goes to her left. Gets the floater up off the window. 6-point leaders. Williams comes up with a steal. Big couple of possessions for Williams.
Interesting there from Bendigo just to let the clock run out on that last possession. I thought they would have tried to foul quickly, and we just see Williams just too crafty and crossing Maddie Garrick over on that pick and roll and forcing her away from it, and then doing a great job and coming up with a steal and possession and probably seeing this one out for the Adelaide Lightning tonight.
And first one goes for Williams, who's got 4 points and 7 assists to her name. So going to be really tough now for Bendigo. 7-point leaders are the Lightning. They'll have to fight from beyond the arc, you'd think, here.
Well, it's going to have to be a quick shot, and then hopefully if it finds the bottom of the net, it's going to have to be foul quick and get to the foul line. So potentially Tracy might advance the ball, or she might want to run it and get the full court kind of transition look. but expect the ball to be in the hands of probably Garrick or Wilson or Tessa Levy.
Yeah, Levy's been fantastic this quarter, and what an interesting game of basketball it's been. The Spirit coming off a 2-game win streak, one of them against this very team, the Adelaide Lightning.
Yeah, this is a big win for the Adelaide Lightning, especially on the road. We know how good they are on the road. They averaged just about 84 points, I think, on the road compared to 65 at home, which is always interesting. You think that playing at home it would be an advantage, but for them, they seem to be enjoying playing on the road. But for Bendigo Spirit, you know, they've had 2 wins. They've only had 3 for the season, and 2 have come obviously back-to-back. One against the Adelaide Lightning back on the 7th of Feb, and then, you know, they beat Townsville in Townsville. So there's some good promising signs for the back end for the Bendigo Spirit, but let's see if they can push this one with 11 seconds to go.
Bounce to Levy. Here's Wilson. She can make things happen. Reverse lay-in. Morelli Wilson. Just 4.5 seconds now. And Talbot gets away from Garrick. So they will look to foul, but that'll just about do it. There's got to be less than 2 seconds to go.
And again, I'm not sure why they just didn't foul really quickly on that inbound and give themselves time and know what their team fouls are. But unfortunately, Tessa Levy, brave in defeat, fouls out, but she can hold her head high. I thought she was sensational in that second half. I don't know how she does it, playing AFLW as well and finding the time to play elite level basketball, but a great performance from her tonight.
Yeah, it must be an extraordinary workload for Tessa Levy. Once again tonight, playing high minutes. So the Lightning look set to remain undefeated on the road. One of the real championship contenders here. So just 0.2 seconds remaining on the clock.
I think they've still got a long way to go before they're really true championship contenders. I think, you know, for me, I'm loving the way I'm loving the way Canberra Capitals are going about their business. They're playing really, really good basketball. They've got an experienced lineup. And then now you've got Perth also, who are back at home for the tail end of the season. They get Sammy Whitcomb back. Hopefully Mabry's back from injury as well. And they're going to be tough on home soil, especially doing as well as they are. They're going to get the crowds there for the Lynx. But a very brave victory for the Lightning. They got pushed there by the spirited Bendigo team, as always. And, you know, credit to the Spirit as well. They can take some positives out of those 3 quarters, apart from that first.
Well, 7-point win in the end for Adelaide, but interesting game to address if you're Tracy York and the Spirit. Obviously played so well after quarter time, but that opening quarter, do you think they'll review that in depth?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's worth reviewing that in depth. It was pretty horrendous, and sometimes it's not good to review that. We just move on and take the positives out of the second, third and fourth quarter. I would have loved to have seen them foul more down the stretch, especially in those last couple of minutes, just to get themselves into the bonus and force Adelaide to the foul line, where they didn't shoot. Oh, well, they were shot at 82% from the foul line for the game, did Adelaide, but just ran out of opportunities, and at some points they had some great stops and did a really good job with 14 steals, but just had good shots, not great shots at times, and I think that was the reason at the end why they were unable to get any closer to the Adelaide Lightning.
Leaders for Bendigo, 21 points, 12 rebounds for the Spirit. And for the Adelaide Lightning, the victors here today, Steph Talbot, 18 and 11. She was outstanding as well, 6 steals. So speak about MVP candidates, Talbot's got to be right up there for potentially back-to-back.
Yeah, and she's filling up the stat sheets everywhere she goes. I mean, it's not even just the rebound count. It's, you know, 4 assists as well, and she was really great with her possession with only 2 turnovers. She creates a lot, not only from deep. I think the 3-point game she's added to her arsenal, but it's also the other thing she does, which is creating steals, getting out and running in the fast break, and then also shutting down people. She's a great defender, as we know, but another veteran of our league, Tessa Levy, she had a great game. You know, if she wasn't draining it from deep herself in that third and fourth quarter, she was able to get some stops or some penetration and assists for her teammates.
Kiana Williams, there's that big bucket at the end of regulation. She had a few big moments to end the game. The steal as well iced it for the Adelaide Lightning. Stats on your screen right now. The Lightning hold on here, just out-rebounding the Spirit in the end. And the offensive rebounding numbers, both teams really gave up quite a few.
Well, great job in actual fact from the Spirit in the second half, because they'd already given up 13 offensive rebounds in the first half. So to only allow, you know, an extra 6 rebounds in the second half is a credit to them, and a reason why they're probably able to close that deficit. You know, but they're relying on the likes of Annalee Maley way too much, and they need someone like Garrick, and Tessa Lavey stepped up tonight, but they also need some punch off the bench. And I thought McKay did a great job in the second half as well, but they just need 1 or 2 more players. But job to Adelaide Lightning to hold on. They get that much needed win before they face Sydney away in their next game.
Certainly the Lightning draw above the Boomers now. They're in clear third position with a 7-3 record. Run 3 of their last 5 and 5-0 on the road this season. So the Adelaide Lightning prevail by 7 points here. It's been Liam Ellison alongside Jenny Screen to bring you tonight's game. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.